Good morning, students. This is Mr. Harrell, Assistant Principal, welcoming you back to Holly Shelter Middle School. There are a couple of things we need to go over here on your first day back for the 15-16 school year. First, I'm going to hit a few points about how to enter the building. I'm going to follow that up with some dress code talk. Then we're going to talk about the hallways. Then we're going to talk about who you can go to if you're having a problem. And then we'll finally wrap it up with a dismissal. No, you don't get to go home at that time. I'm just going to talk about it. Then I'll let you all go back to your teachers and your instruction. All right, moving on. Here we go. So how and when to enter the building when you get to school this year? Things have changed a little bit. For those of you coming from the bus lot, when you exit the bus, please don't run. You need to walk off the bus and slowly walk into the building so that you're not pushing and shoving. When you get to the door, however, you won't just get to walk straight in. You're going to need to make sure you're calm and in a line and ready to walk into the building ready to learn, because if you're not, Mr. Beamer and Ms. Fasalo, who will be waiting to greet you, will make sure you stand right there until you have gotten into a nice calm line. If you are eating breakfast, you will go straight into the cafeteria. You will put your book bags and your jackets down on the seats of the tables and go to get your breakfast. Now please remember, much like the end of last year, this year we will only be sitting on one side of the cafeteria tables at breakfast. Breakfast time is not for socialization. Breakfast time is for nourishment for your brain to make sure that your learning is at optimal levels throughout the day. Once you've gotten your breakfast, you need to make sure to eat it and then move on to your class. Because this year, as soon as you are done with breakfast, and as soon as you enter the school, if you are not a breakfast eater, you will be going directly to your classroom with your first teacher to drop everything and read. So please make sure you are also bringing a book every single day, because that first 20 minutes of the day, we are going to be dropping everything and reading before homeroom and mastery starts. For car riders, breakfast eaters, once again, when you enter the building, you'll go straight to the cafeteria. You will put your items down at the table just like the bus riders do, and you will follow procedures just like the bus riders do. If you are coming in and you are not eating breakfast, you'll go straight to class. All of the teachers know you're coming, so they'll be waiting for you. And once again, make sure to bring a book, because you will need to drop everything and read. My favorite time of the day. Next, we're going to talk about dress code. Once again, Holly Shelter has a dress code, as they have had for the past 5 years. Students, for the first week, you will be getting slips and phone calls home from the teachers if you are not in dress code. However, on that 6th day of school, at the beginning of the second week on that Monday, if you are not in dress code, if you're coming from the bus lot and you're entering that door, Ms. Fasalo or Mr. Beamer will stop you, send you to call home, and then you will wait in ISS until your parent or someone else brings you out a change of clothes. If there is no one who can bring you a change of clothes, you will sit in ISS for the entire school day until the end of the day. This is in the student handbook, and it is stated very clearly, dress code is expected. As for the dress code on the first week, the red notes will go home to your parents so that they know that they need to send you in dress code every day, and there will be a phone call that follows up to your parents from the teacher. Please make sure that you don't get any of these. Hallway transitions. Last year we did hallway transitions in one direction, down the hallways leaving towards the elective hallways, and outside leaving towards the gym. We will not be doing that this year. This year all transitions will take place inside the building. There will be teachers stationed throughout the hallways to monitor your transitions. You are to walk on the right side of the hallway, and you will be reminded of this. However, please understand, if you are a consistent non-follower of these directions, you will be pulled aside, and you possibly will be given a consequence of a lunch detention or some ISS time. So please make sure to follow those simple rules, walk on the right side, and keep your hands to yourself. Managing your time, students. There are certain times when you can go to your locker and certain times when you can't. So just because it's a hallway transition, please don't just go out and go to your locker. Your team and your teachers will tell you when it is appropriate to go to your lockers. If you go at times outside of that, there is the possibility of receiving a consequence from your teachers, such as lunch detentions. All right? Who to go to ask? For the bathroom, very simple. You ask your teacher. Don't ask a random teacher. You ask your teacher. Now, School policy, per Ms. Kiker, is that during the first 15 minutes of class and the last 15 minutes of class, students will not be accessing the bathrooms. So you need to make sure to manage your time appropriately. But once that time has been set up, you need to ask your teacher. You will need to check with your team, though, because some of the teams have specific bathroom policies and procedures in place. So they've already taken care of the fact that there are going to be times when children need to use the bathroom, and they've put those policies and procedures in place just for that reason. Dress code concerns. If you have dress code concerns outside of not being in dress code, please make sure to let your teacher know, and she will refer you to the appropriate grade level guidance counselor. If you're having issues with peers, we know there won't be any issues with peers. We all get along. But if you are having issues with peers, please let your teacher know immediately, and that way she can refer you to your grade level guidance counselor. I love those phone calls where parents call me up and they talk about the fact that there's a problem between this child and that child. I go and ask the child, and the child says they haven't told a single individual at school. Folks, we can't fix it if we don't know about it. So please make sure, notify the appropriate people. Transportation changes. This is very important for you children. Transportation changes should be taken to Miss Biber, the secretary in the front office, first thing in the morning. If you have not taken it first thing in the morning, you may miss out on the opportunity to do a transportation change. Transportation changes will not be allowed by students after 12 o'clock. So if you have a note that you've brought from home and you forget to give it to Miss Biber, unfortunately, you may not be riding home with whom you thought you were. You'll be going home on your regular route or as a car rider. If your parent has a transportation change after 12 o'clock, they are more than welcome to call and speak to Ms. Biber, and we will work out whatever needs to be worked out because we are flexible. But students, you need to understand, 12 o'clock is that cutoff time for transportation changes. Dismissal. Once again, this is not your time to leave, so don't get up. We're going to talk about dismissal. This year, Holly Shelter policy, all buses will have a seating chart. This is to cut down on all the running and the playing and the pushing and the poking and the prodding at dismissal at the end of the day. So now there's no reason for you to run because you're not going to get a different seat. You get the seat you're assigned by the bus driver. Your teacher will also have a list of the students that ride each slot or each bus. And without a transportation change, if your bus is called, you're going to be expected to go to that bus. If your bus has not been called, you will remain in class until it is. Finally, we will be dismissing by slot number again this year. We do not dismiss by the bus number. We dismiss by slot number. Because these buses are a little on the elderly side sometimes, they tend to break down. Or they just need a tune-up. That being the case, when they change the buses, we don't need to change the number because they always park in the same slot. So if your bus is parking in slot 1 or parking space 1, then you know whenever you come out to slot 1, whatever bus is there, whether it's 333, 385, 272, 467, 1,285, 1,005,762.3, if it's in slot 1, that's your bus. So students, I hope you've enjoyed hearing some of the highlights and points of what you need to know here at Holly Shelter Middle School this year. Please understand, the administration will be following up with a nice auditorium speech for all of you regarding the handbook, the rules, the policies, and the procedures. Why? Just because we love spending time with you guys. Hey, have a great day.